Yes, Spurs fans, how we doing? Jack here. Just going to be running the fan show tonight. Going to get people's opinions on a whole lot that's happened. Felt like maybe people were in a decent mood after the PSG game. At least we gave it a go. Perhaps the expectations were pretty low, to be honest. So they did rise above them, at least in my opinion. I was able to watch that game for the most part on the airplane. And every time I was joking to Jerome in the back end, saying every time that I was looking up and down, refreshing the game on the terrible airplane Wi-Fi. It felt like a goal had gone in or two goals had gone in, but it looked like Spurs gave it a good go. Actually, maybe relatively optimistic for the Fulham game, but I did say about a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago to Dave, I was saying I'm pretty worried if Spurs were to lose to a team like Fulham because Fulham, all respect to them, I think are pretty much bang average, pretty much towards the bottom end of the table. I don't think they're getting relegated, but I think they're a good test, a good barometer, a good level to measure yourself against. And the fact that we went 2-0 down in that sort of manner. And to be honest, when I watched the first half at least, they could have scored maybe 3, 4. I think the 2 goals that they actually scored, fair play to them for putting them in the back of the net, but they did feel a bit lucky. They sort of came out of the blue. That tends to happen in football, but they did actually have other chances where maybe they could have done a little bit better with. So to be 2-0 down at first half, by the end of the first half, I actually felt was relatively justified. Maybe they should have only been 1-0 up, but they were the better team by far in that first half. Spurs created absolutely nothing when I was watching the game last night and touching up on it this morning. In the second half, it felt like we did sort of give more of a go. There was maybe a sense of urgency. I'm not sure if that was more Thomas Frank or more the players just maybe showing that sense of urgency, knowing how bad it would look to be 2-0 down at halftime. But I think we were the better team in the second half, but I don't think that was really saying much. I don't think we really put them that much under the cosh. We really created that many chances in the game. We're going to be asking some difficult questions tonight. Part of them have to do with the relationship between the fans and the players. A whole lot of criticism is coming out from the fans. A whole lot of criticism is coming out from the players and the manager. The manager is upset with the booing during the game. The players are upset with the booing during the game. Fans are upset that they're being accused of booing that they're not allowed to do when they're paid hundreds of thousands of pounds a week to handle that sort of pressure and to handle that type of atmosphere. If you ask me personally, I'm sort of lining on that side type of thing. If you're going to become a professional athlete and if you're going to be paid hundreds and hundreds of thousands of pounds a week, what people make practically in a year, if not 2, 3, 4 years, I think you could sort of handle a boo here and there. I was even joking to people at the back, and I was booing my family members over various things, over the Thanksgiving weekend, when they were playing a bad card in a game of cards or things like that. I was booing them, jokingly. I just think it's just one of those noises that people tend to make. But then again, other people take it differently. Other people take it more personally. We'll be talking about that. It's always a spicy conversation when it comes to that element of things. We'll be talking about kind of when it started, really, because when I was watching the game, the boos didn't really, the boos were sort of coming in pretty quickly. And I was kind of thinking, how long is it? When did that start? When did that become a thing at Spurs? When did it become a regularity to start seeing the Spurs fans booing just so quickly and so instantly? When did that sort of start to come as a culture of habit, really, for lack of a better term? And then we'll be talking about, which I imagine will take a bit of time as well, which is Thomas Frank being under pressure. I personally think he is. Other people might think he's not. I understand if people want to have more patience. I'm just not seeing a whole lot to get behind. I think part of the patience word comes with seeing things that give you the patience. Why would you have patience if you're not seeing anything to be patient for? That's where I'm sort of lying on it. Whereas other people might just sort of be blindly faithful. I actually appreciate that attribute. I think it's a good attribute to sometimes maybe have in life. Maybe I lack it at this point, but I am going to be talking about whether we should be patient with Thomas Frank or whether he's under pressure. Personally, I think he's under pressure, really, but we'll be talking about all that good stuff. Going to bring some people here in the chat, say hello to them, and then we'll get the show underway. Dropkick your teacher. Apologies for being late. Just like to chat with these people on the back end, sort of catch up with them. Patrick Thomas, good to see you. Tommy Skunks, always good to see you as well. We are Spurs TV. The fans booed every touch from Vicario. I did sort of laugh when they saw him sort of kick it into Rosette, when he should have done it the first time, and then they gave him, a ironic jeer. Again, like I just think every other crowd would have done that. To be perfectly honest, I don't think you would have seen any different behavior from other English crowds. I actually don't think were that different maybe from other crowds. It's just that if you watch other fan bases go through the losing record that we've been going through, I'd be curious to see if they actually would behave any differently. I'm not even too sure if Spurs fans are any special. I think we've just genuinely experienced we're the highest season ticket price in the Premier League, and we have the worst home Premier League record of any team in the Premier League. I think with that comes a lot of negativity. I think it'd be hard to sort of ask the fans to show positivity in those circumstances. Tartan Spurs out in Scotland saying yet again it's Groundhog Day at this club, infighting amongst the players and players having to pop at the fans. We were supposed to kick on after Europa League final. Feels like we're back in the bud. Big up Jack and Dave. It's just live at Tottenham Hotspur fan, isn't it? Tartan Spurs, big up man. I'm in the same way. I even made a joke to someone the other day saying, "Up, back to regular business." You know, as a Spurs fan, just when you think we're back on the up, just when you think things have taken a turn, all of a sudden it kind of sets back to normal setting or whatever it is, residual setting. We are Spurs TV saying I feel bad for Vicari's mom who's always at the games. I think it's just what comes with it when you're a fan of the club and you're also one of the players' parents. I think she's probably gotten used to it at this point. Good morning, Coys. Was not impressed with Frank's presser. Neither was I. Stevie Frazier, always good to see you. Big up, Jack. Good to see you, Stevie. Hopefully everything's all right with you. Shemi Tan saying, "Hey, Jack, good to see you. Hope you had a good Thanksgiving with the family and with all the Spurs drama. You probably wish you didn't have to come back." Yeah, kind of. To be honest, it was nice to watch it from a reasonable distance and not have to engage with it because, man, I think this was a tough week for Dave to take on, really, and it was one of those where I was kind of glad I was gone from having to dissect that Fulham performance. It's kind of nice just to do it with the fan show and everything, but yeah, man. The PSG game I would have liked to have been a part of. I was kind of jealous I wasn't there with the day for the PSG game because I think the expectations were pretty low, and I think we gave it a good go. I think we gave it a good performance. Flip, Jack. Yeah, seriously, reverse guard. Tommy Shanks. Tommy needs to do better if he's the one to be blamed every game. Different formation. Most players don't even know what they're doing. That's a fair comment. It's a fair comment. King Hoddle saying, one, a player's brain fart cannot be laid at the manager door. Two, we've lost 44 of the last 100 games. This is not a Frank issue. We are now a top 7 with not enough players of sufficient quality. Agree with some of that, King Hoddle. Stevie Frazier saying, I think booing after is fine, even though I don't do it, but in game, making it harder for our players to play, that doesn't help. See, I'm kind of in this boat where I actually have no issue with the booing. And to be honest, even during the game, like, I think fans are entitled to do what they want. And I think it's all built up to become this type of environment and this type of pressure where the fans have seen so little to get behind for a long period, both under Ange and other Thomas Frank. So I just think there's this general negativity that's sort of around the fan base at the minute. And I don't know how you just magically get rid of that. I think the only way you get rid of that is just by winning games. But I do kind of see the argument where when they're trying to get back into the game, when they are trying to sort of muster up that courage to get back into these games, I do feel like when they're just booing a random sideways pass or a random side a backwards pass, it doesn't help. And I could see that because I think over the weekend I was able to catch just randomly while I was kind of waiting on people. I was able to watch that Sunderland Bournemouth game and like Bournemouth, I believe, right? They went like 2 goals up or something like that. The Sunderland fan base, for the most part, from what I could tell, did not really boo in the manner that we did when they went 2 goals down. They found a way to sort of jeer on their players to get back into the game. It's not like they were getting that hyped up for him. It's just that they weren't booing maybe in the manner that we were. But that's because they're a team in form, and I think their expectations are a lot lower than ours, to be fair. So I think there's a lot of context with that. Harmless Potato, good to see you. Really appreciate your support as a member. K32, as always, really appreciate you. I have a solution for Frank and players getting booed. How about they put in a little bit of effort and show some heart when they play? Seriously, start winning some games. Kieran also saying it's a toxic club culture. Derek Hutchinson, always good to see you. Really appreciate you guys. Let's get the people in here and have me sort of shut up at this point. Hit the like button, please, as you're coming in. And also feel free to become a member if you want to join the conversation. It's pinned at the top of the chat. But let's start bringing some of the people in here. We have Jerome, who's in here nice and early. Ryan, Mia, Chris, the old general, and then Stefan, who's been a wonderful addition. Jerome, since you were in here first, I'm going to go to you on this one. It has to do with the booing. And what's your opinion of it? Like Vicario, Poro, Thomas Frank have all criticized the booing, saying it shouldn't be happening during the games. They're sort of content with it happening after the games. Where do you lie on this spectrum of the booing?
Look, to me, in terms of booing, I am like Mia. I don't like booing. I don't like when our fans boo their own players and things like that. I don't like it.
That's pretty
But
funny coming from a passionate fan like yourself. You sort of leave your
yeah,
opinions
I
till the
know.
90th minute.
I I I, I don't like this. I don't like when we like, for example, the Vicario one. It's like we boot, like he was targeted the whole time, right? During the game of things like that. So it's okay. It's like I don't like this, but at the same time, I understand. I understand it because since the season started, it's we won two games at home. Wait, how many did we won? We won Burnley. We won Burnley,
In the
but
last
who
year and
else?
a few weeks, we're literally the worst team in the Premier League when it comes to home form.
Yeah, because apart from the Burnley game, who else did we beat at home?
We've won 3 games. We've won against Burnley, Doncaster, and Copenhagen.
In
Yeah, no.
Villarreal,
I mean,
yeah.
in the league itself. Forget like the other competition,
Yeah,
but in
I
the
think
league,
it's
it's
only
just the
Burnley.
Burnley, right?
It's only Burnley, first game of the
Just
season.
Burnley.
Yeah. So
Insane.
just realize, just understand this. We're at home. We only won one game in the league, right? One game, and then they give us this kind of performance. I mean, like, I, I don't blame the fans for going. I don't blame them for the frustration. Like I said, I don't like booing, but I can understand. I understand the frustration. It's like the worst thing I can see, man. It's like after the PSG game gave me kind of hope, even though we lost. It gave me kind of a bit of a hope, thinking, you know what? If we keep playing this way, maybe there's a chance. And I was still in my head, I was thinking, Saturday, we're gonna go back to that same terrorist football nonsense,
Yeah.
and I'm not gonna go for it. And again, they went exactly like I was thinking. Terrorist football. You, you make two mistakes within 10 minutes. You have 80 minutes to rectify that mistake. You have 35 minutes in the first half to rectify this mistake. Try to go back in the game, score at least one goal, and like seriously, the whole stadium would have started erupting again, and everybody would be behind them to push them to at least get a draw. For 35 minutes, what did we see? Absolutely nothing. Nothing. Not a shot on target. Nothing from this team. Just passing backwards, sideways, backwards, like whatever the hell we were trying to do. There's nothing. So, and they said we're not expecting booings from the fans from this kind of football. Come on, man. Come on. And the next thing is about, probably we're going to talk about this later, but the thing about the players are not good enough. Last season, when we were just playing our fringe players, and we had like none of our starting 11 starting like properly during the whole most of the season, I would understand. I would say, yeah, those players, those are fringe players. They're not good enough to starting. But right now, we've got our back line that was not there last season. We've got Paulinha as a number 6 that's now joined us, and we've got like better players that's joined as well. So we can't be blaming the players. We cannot say we don't have quite enough quality players for us to compete. It's enough to compete this season. Enough. But right now, all I'm seeing is nothing. Absolutely nothing. And I'm not going to go with we don't have enough quality players this season. I'm not going to go on this one because this is not fair. Not fair at all. Because
I'm
those players, what we have right now, are good enough to compete.
surprised, actually, you're on the case of really not booing. I kind of love RM's comment. Boo, don't boo. I don't really give an F. Just man up and get on with it.
Yeah,
I'm
but
sort of in that
I
boat
just
where you're
understand.
paid hundreds of
I get it.
thousands of pounds a week, Jerome.
Yeah.
Like, this is kind of, if you reach this sort of level, I think this is what you're paid handsomely to have to deal with. And you look at many a case of examples where Real Madrid, right? They boo at the slightest mistouch of a player that, ends up going the wrong way. Everton, just a few years ago, right? Maybe until this
Yeah.
season, were booing every single halftime because they felt like this is far below what they expect. And there are many more examples. And I think that's actually a good way to look at it, where Real Madrid and Everton are two entirely different clubs of different expectations, but they both kind of developed this culture of booing for whatever reason. So to say that it's like unique to Spurs or it's like somehow a Tottenham thing, I don't think is actually the case. I think that's actually just a case of sport. And the players
it's just
apparently
frustration.
aren't really man enough to be able to deal with it for whatever reason. But
Yeah,
I
and
also
it's
do
just pure
understand
frustration from the fans. Yeah, I understand as well.
I understand what people say when you're trying to get back into the game and you just misplace a
Mm.
pass and then they're booing. It's like, yeah, that's not necessarily helping the situation. I do sort of agree with that. But booing at halftime, booing at full time, I don't really see a problem with it. Like I said, I was booing my godmother for playing a bad card, in a game that we're playing just the other day. So I just feel like it's one of those things. But Mia, I'm going to go to you second because I know you have maybe a different opinion on this, and then I'm going to go to Ryan afterwards because he was in here nice and early. Mia, what are your thoughts on sort of the players, chiming back at the booing?
I mean, I don't think they've really got much, not much right, but I think that they should just take it on board, because I think that obviously something, like you say, they're it's not much that how much they earn, but they're professionals. So I feel like they're professionals and they should be able to accept criticism in some ways. However, the way it was done, I disagree with, because I think I don't agree. I don't boo, and that wouldn't be me, and that would never be me, because that's just the person that I am. I just don't think it's something I would ever do. But I think if you want to boo at the end of the game, I understand it. But to boo Vicario every time he got the ball isn't going to help his confidence. You want to make sure that he doesn't make any more mistakes. And by booing him every single time he touched the ball afterwards isn't going to do that. It's the same as the Sanchez situation. I didn't like it. I don't like that it was done individually to him as well, specifically. And I can see why the players felt a bit hurt by that, because we're their fans. We're the ones that we're their supporters. And to do that during the game, I just don't think helps, because I'm not being funny, but I don't know if any of you watched the Chelsea-Arsenal game. They went down to 10 men. Nobody booed the player off the pitch. No, he did a high tackle. It was bad, but no one booed. They all just got behind them. They had 10 men and they didn't get beat. So, sometimes you can get behind the players and that will give them that confidence, that boost as well during the game. And like I say, if they still don't perform, boom. If you want to boo them at the end of the game, I don't think there's anything wrong with that if you want to do that. But I just think during the game, whilst everybody's got a right to do what they wish, as it is, they support the club how they wish to support them, I just don't think it really helps. And I can see the players' point of view when it comes to that. I just don't think it really helps them.
Yeah, and I sort of brought up that example to me, and maybe you brought up a decent one with the Chelsea game. I watched randomly because I said I was waiting on some family members, but I watched randomly that Sunderland-Bournemouth game, and Sunderland went down 2-0 unexpectedly, really. But, they were absolutely being outplayed for the first 20 or 30 so minutes by Bournemouth. And, I didn't really hear much booing. There was kind of a bit of that tension, that bit of that silence maybe inside the stadium. But I also sort of look at it a different way where, they're sort of on cloud nine right now. Sunderland fans, they're probably not expecting to be winning every game. And by not booing, they did actually come back in the game. So maybe if they had booed, perhaps the players wouldn't have found that courage, that momentum to sort of get back into the game. And then they ended up winning it, crazy enough. So I just wonder, I'm sort of on both ends of the spectrum where I actually like booing, but I also see how it can be a detriment to players trying to get back into the game.
Like I
But that's the
say,
thing, Jack. If you look at Sunderland, if you look at Sunderland for the moment, right? Why would the fan boost? It doesn't matter, because to them, it's like, even if they are like 2-0 down, they can see the pattern of play. They can understand their team. They can get behind it. Even though we lose the game, we can say our team gave it a shot. They gave it a go. They gave it a really good shot at the game. And look at that. They came back and won the game. But look at us. Are we like Sunderland? We are much better than Sunderland. Definitely better than Sunderland. But are we giving it a shot? Are we saying we are giving it a go every single time? No, we're not. We're not the same. We can't do that. Yeah.
I think that's what it is. I think expectations, of course, and I understand, please don't get it wrong. I know what people are going to say is that they pay their money to go and watch the team, and they should be able to boo if they want. And I'm like I say, it's just not personally what I would do. I don't think that anybody should be told that they should or shouldn't boo. But I think that the expectation of going there and saying, well, I pay my money. I think you go there because you want to support your club and you love your club. You don't pay for results. It's not a results. You don't pay for a result. You pay because you want to go and support your club. And I agree. If they're not playing good enough and you want to boo at an end of a game because you don't feel like they put enough effort in, I feel like that's fine because you're voicing your like dissatisfaction, whatever it is, at the end of the game. At the end of the game, it's fine because you're actually showing them at the end of the game that was not good enough. But like I say, during the game, when you're booing individual players, I just don't reckon that helps them. It don't really help them. Doesn't help the team at all. So
no, I'm with you there, Mia.
That's my personal thoughts on it.
That's the part I do agree with. As much as I love booing, I'll admit it. I love it. It's one of the best noises I think you can make as a human being, really. But it's one of those where I do agree there's a time and a place for it. We're going to bring Ryan in, and then Chris, and then Stefan. We're going to try to be really efficient here, and then we'll sort of let everybody just have a free-for-all with some of the rest of the questions. But Ryan, players, Tottenham, Thomas Frank have all called out the fans for booing. What do you make of that? I mean, are they justified in sort of showing that frustration towards the fans?
Look, I'm just going to put this straight, right? First of all, Jerome was talking about fringe players. We've got fringe players playing on that field for the first 11. Flipping heck. Let's get that straight. These are fringe players. We need quality. How many times do I have to say the same thing over and over again? These are
talk about the booing question though, Ryan. Like, don't just sort of deflect it to something else.
I'll get onto it after, but like literally, right? He was talking about fringe players. They're on the field already. Fringe players. We need quality. Apart from Kudos, Polinia, Mickey, and Romero, all the others are fringe players. Like,
come on, man.
But when it comes down to the booing,
it's also only Fulham, though. It's not like we were coming up against Chelsea or Arsenal. Like, this is Fulham. Surely you should be able to be Fulham with like fringe players. Fulham, if anything, are kind of a hilarious club in that they're a team of misused fringe players from a variety of clubs. Jimenez, Emile Smith-Rowe, Alex Iwobi. Harvey Elliott, all the, Sander Berg.
Jack, can I ask a question to Ryan then?
They're almost like misused toys. I actually think of them as like a Toy Story sort of like team where they're,
Jack,
they're
can I ask a question for Ryan?
Good manager, to be honest.
Ryan, okay, you're saying that about we haven't got quality players. Is our squad better than Fulham's? Yes or no?
1 through 11.
Is our squad equivalently better than
1 through 11?
Is our squad better than Fulham? Yes or no?
Well, at the moment, this minute in time.
In general.
Well, I can only go on the team that we've got at the moment, and no, it's not.
That's insane.
Sorry, Ryan.
I take Sessegnon back. We flogged Sessegnon.
Yeah, they've made Ryan Sessegnon look good. Would you take Ryan Sessegnon over Udogie?
I would take. I'd even have you at right back, at right or left back at the moment, Jack. It's that embarrassing because the players are not performing. The players are not performing, and the problem is when you've got fringe players.
No. If the players aren't performing, sorry, that's the manager.
I think it's a good question that Stefan and Chris Mia brought up a good question. Like 1 through 11, Fulham. No, Mia, question to you here because I think Ryan's just deflecting. I mean, 1 through 11, I think Fulham, this is where I think people can be upset is because Fulham 1 through 11, I don't think even have any player that should be better.
Jack, can I just point one thing out as well? Ryan, Udogie is not a right back, he's a left back. So really you can't really say anything. We can't say anything there because Udogie is technically a better left back than Ryan Sessegnon, but we'll just leave it at that.
But Mia, I mean, it's a good point I think Chris has brought up there, right? Like, this is why we're upset. Fulham are misfit toys.
I think that we've done this a lot this season, though, Jack. When you look at the 11 that we're playing, really, we are better than them, but we still haven't got the result. And that's the problem, isn't it? Because you expect that there's teams out there, you look at our 11 versus theirs, and we haven't been set up in the correct way to beat this 11 that we should be and are superior to. Like we are better. We have got better players, even if not by a mile, but we have got better players and we're not beating them. So yeah, that is an issue, because if you're predicting a win, that means you're confident that we're better than them to get a win. I actually predicted a draw because I wasn't confident in the way we're playing. So that just shows you. But yeah, if we've been people who predict a win and then go back on it and say, oh, but the quality is not good enough for the team. So why did you predict a win then? Why did you predict a win if you don't think the quality's there? Surely you believe the quality's there if you think we're going to beat them.
Well, I'm a delusional happy clapper, so in any situation,
Look.
usually try to sort of imagine a win. But I think Chris has brought up a very good point, which is why I said to Dave at 1.5, 2 weeks ago, man, if we lose to Fulham, I'm going to start getting worried, because I just don't think losing to Fulham at home as well, it seems like a very doable game. Like, I understand the record at home has been terrible. I understand the atmosphere at home has been terrible, but that seems like a good opponent to sort of build up a bit of confidence at home. And to go 2-0 down, I personally think in a pretty unlucky way. I could sort of sympathize with the players. But it's not like they did very much to get back into the game, really. Like, I think we actually could have been 2-0 down in there were other chances that Fulham actually should have put away. So I actually think being 2-0 down at first half was actually kind of fair.
4-0 down.
Yeah, really. Yeah.
Should have been, yeah.
So, I mean, I didn't really know what to make of that. I was like, well, and then when we saw that we generated 0 point something XG inside the first half, you're just kind of like, well, we deserve to be losing, really. Like, Fulham have been the better team in the first half.
Wasn't it 0.07 XG in the first half or something like that? That was that bad.
Yeah, 0.04.
Every time we play a game, that stat comes up. It's just like, oh.
Seems to happen in the first half too, Stefan, right? Like, don't you feel like it's sort of a first half thing where, like, we seem to play terribly in the first half, and then maybe we just sort of panic and start to actually play a version of football in the second half?
That was a massive thing under Conte, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think it was under Conte. We always started really slow.
Yeah.
Seems to have just carried on. But the home form is definitely a worry. And I've heard things like the players are scared to play at home because they're afraid of making mistakes and stuff, which is really worrying. Do you want to go around the panel before you get to me? Or...
Sorry, I mean, I maybe started going ahead of myself in free for all, but I think next was Chris, and Chris sort of came in with that great question because I think he was just waiting to get that off of his chest. Chris, I mean, what are your thoughts on the booing, man?
Well, during the game, really you shouldn't be doing it because the players obviously need confidence. But when you put a performance like that in the first half, for the first 35 minutes, right, after being 2-0 down after 10 minutes, the players still didn't put their foot down to try to get back into the game. It was just slow, lethargic, and the fans can pick up on that, are feeding off that as well. So, yes, they shouldn't be doing it, but I understand why they're doing it at the same time. But it's like, for me, we can't be just a second half team. We cannot keep doing it. Yes, we got a draw against Brighton by doing that, but that ain't going to work every game, as we found out against Fulham. Now, as I said, right, my belief is our squad is better than Fulham's. If you look at the quality of players we have compared to Fulham, we've got a better team. Yet, we're not getting the results that just justify it. So, well, who knows what we can do next. And Jack, the question you asked me last week, if I'm Frank out, I was telling you I was at the platform. The train has now departed. I'm out.
Not even enough to catch up to you in Newcastle.
Nope. The train's gone past Newcastle up to Edinburgh.
I've taken that train. It's a very nice train, by the way. From Edinburgh to Newcastle, just the other direction.
Jack, I'm going to the game tomorrow, against Newcastle. I'll be there in the stands watching us play, right? And I'm just praying for a miracle that we actually put in a performance worth talking about, because every single week for the last God knows how many weeks now, we've just talked about the same thing. Fans booing, we lost again, didn't put a performance in, week in, week out. It's just a reoccurring nightmare.
Very funny comment from Tango Ben Al-Shid saying, think of the fan that was probably in the toilet when he just came out. We were down 2-0.
Exactly.
I had that too, where I was watching the game last night. I didn't know the score. I could tell by some of the texts that obviously it hadn't gone well. but I was like preparing myself mentally. Clearly this result wasn't what we wanted, and then to see that we were 2-0 down inside 6 minutes.
Well, Jack,
like,
I'm not going to lie.
geez.
Jack, I'm not going to lie. I missed the second goal because I literally went after 1-0 down. I went, right, I'm just going to run to the toilet. Come on, it's 2-0. I'm like, huh? What happened? What did I miss? Then I saw the replay and I went, I'm glad I missed it.
Yeah, seriously. Stefan, though, I mean, it's kind of, we're just bouncing around here, man. What do you think of the booing in general? Vicario's called it out. Poro's called it out. Thomas Frank has called it out. Are they justified to call out the fans, or do you feel differently?
The thing is, with the players calling it out is a bit worrying because we've got bigger problems than that right now. And the way I see it is like, yeah, it's not good to be booed, but let's be honest, like, it's not a new thing. Booing has been around since like the day a ball's been kicked. And if they've got that far in their career, I know it was a lot of boos, but booing from the stand shouldn't make or break your game. You should be mentally stronger than that, because otherwise, how else did you get through that far into your career to be, a professional footballer? Maybe I'm just a bit old school, but I think like it wasn't, nothing was like offensive. There wasn't any objects being thrown. There wasn't anything like that. Yeah, it was booing. It's not nice to hear, but you're a professional player. You got a man up. Stop being such a pussy and get on with it. Like, sorry, but that's what it
Yeah, I agree.
is. So
I
like,
agree.
So
if
it's okay
the
for Vicario to swear at fans then, yeah?
I didn't say that. We're talking about the booing.
When did Vicario swear at fans for? Vicario said himself he's a big man. He can understand the booing. So what are you coming at to Vicario swearing at fans? Where did you see this?
No, because he swore at fans, right, during the match.
Well, that happens all the time as well. Like we had a guy on the other week that he was told to shush by Hugo Lloris. Players give it back if they're getting it, then fair enough, they give it back as well. It's just football, mate. It's just what happens on the terraces.
So the fans can insult someone without not expecting to get anything. So you can swear, you can abuse somebody, but you don't expect to get anything because you're a paying fan. You don't expect to get anything back from them because we should stay quiet and not say anything.
Joe, I was taught, Ryan, if you can't take it, don't give it. That's what I was always taught when I was a kid,
exactly,
man.
Yeah.
Don't start it. Don't start it if you can't finish it, man.
Yeah. I think since
Exactly.
I've been coming on here as well, just a bit about Frank, like I could tell he wasn't the manager like a few weeks ago. And now every time I come on here, like, I think this is my third week, the pressure's just been growing and growing and growing. So it seems like it's only headed one way, because I don't think he's got the personality for this job.
Yeah.
And like the things he says in the media is like really worrying, and you can tell it's getting to him. So I think it's just a matter of time until we part ways, to be honest, which isn't good. You want to see every Spurs manager do well, no matter who they are. But
I agree.
I think it's just it's almost like at this point it's inevitable. And the biggest tell sign was, did you see at halftime the players had like a little huddle amongst themselves?
At halftime,
They were there.
Yeah.
They were there for like 5 minutes talking. So if you're a manager, you've only got 15 minutes with them at halftime. 5 of those minutes, the players were trying to sort things out between them. So what does that tell you? That tells you they don't respect them. And then we had the incident with Spence and Van der Ven when they kind of blanked Frank. Everyone just sort of thought, oh, just like that's a one-off. But all these things, they kind of make sense. So I don't think the players respect him. So yeah, I think in a few weeks' time, I'm going to come on and we're going to have I don't know who's going to be in charge, but I can't see this Frank appointment working out.
My vote's for Doris. My vote's for Doris, the tea lady. My vote's for Doris, the tea. Yeah, that's my vote for the next manager.
But I think in regards to the players not being good enough, I don't believe that for a second, because we've seen them for their countries be good, we've seen them for other clubs be good, and we've seen them at times for us be good. So they can't be bad players, can they? So I don't buy that at all.
I don't either.
I think there's managers out there that could, because I don't think Frank knows how to use Xavi. Like, he's like dropping him in, he's dropping him out. A player like that needs to be starting like every single week, and we need to build a team around players like that, because he just looks so lost at the moment. He's probably talent wise our best like player. If you put him on the market, he would be like the most expensive. So
Probably.
yeah, I think that's bullshit, to be honest. Like, saying our squad's not good enough.
I agree.
We finished 17th last year, but let's be real. Like, we all know why we finished 17th. If that trophy was never on the table, like, I'm sure our league results would have improved. And
I
of course,
agree.
we had the injury crisis as well. This isn't like a back in Frange. Like I think if we took the emotion out of it, I think he needed to go. Like in all seriousness, but yeah,
No, I think very
I
fair point,
agree. I
Stefan, to
agree
be
with
honest.
Stefan. Yeah,
Yeah.
Ange needed to go. That's right. But as a club, we
100%.
needed to move forward and get another trophy-winning manager like a Glasner or somebody else. But we just went backwards by getting
yeah,
Frank. It's going backwards. It's going backwards. I'm sorry, I have to say it. It's going
yeah. It's
backwards
a
by getting
backwards
Frank. Frank
train.
won nothing.
It,
So it's just like what we just went for the hype, and everybody was like, "Oh, we needed a better
Jerome,
coach. A coach will get this team to move better." Don't see it.
Jerome, you can
Not
say one
happening.
thing with Frank, yeah. It's the saying that's been said so many times. You've got a top coach and then you've got a mid-level coach, yeah. And we've gone from a coach who knew he could win a trophy, which was Ange.
Yeah.
I'm not sticking up for Wade because we lost 22 league games
Yeah.
last season. It's not unacceptable by any standards. Unacceptable. Take the trophy away from that. That was a rotten season.
Yeah.
But Frank
Oh
is a
yeah.
mid-level
Agree.
manager. He ain't won nothing in his time as a manager, so he's shown nothing that what he can do. So
No,
to
he's
me,
not good
Yeah.
enough.
he's a mid-level manager. He's not a top manager. He's a mid-level manager, in my opinion.
It's very,
Yeah.
very
The
similar
problem
to
is,
when Chelsea got Potter. Everyone was thinking,
yeah,
oh, he was like the next best thing. But it's because he was working under a good scouting model, and everyone at Brighton is successful in like as relative to what that club see as success.
Yeah,
And
Keith
now,
Andrews is doing great since he's
exactly, I wouldn't be surprised if Brentford beat us. I don't, because they'll
no.
just be so fired up. That could be, it'd be
yeah,
pretty ironic if that's the game he loses his job on.
Yeah, I think that wouldn't be
yeah,
a bad way to actually judge it, actually, for him to lose his game on that one.
yeah.
Just want to take a couple of comments here, and then we'll sort of push this conversation along. Harmless Potato saying it wasn't really that loud either, the boos. Let's not make a mountain out of a molehill the players
Yeah,
have to put up
exactly.
with things like zero resilience. That's what I'm sort of coming at. It's like I've heard louder boos from Real Madrid fans. I've
Yeah.
heard louder boos from Everton fans. I
A
didn't
mute
see much
point.
complaining coming from those, players in those situations. So I think it is kind of rich that the players have come out and somehow made it, like it's if, they could be, I don't know. It's just I thought it was a little rich, coming from the players. To be honest, surely they have a thicker spine than that. Really,
We like to think so, because otherwise we're in real trouble.
But do
Victoria
you not
saying, "I don't
think?
want our
Do you
players
not?
to start crying for attention like the Arsenal little girls." I kind of agree with that as well. And then Alex Smith has just come in here. Maybe just want to take this since it has to do with the conversation of booing, and maybe I'll pass it on to you, Mia. Fans have a right to boo. Their players, as fans, pay a lot of money to go to the games. I mean, my last game I went to, cost me, including travel, around £150. Like, this is what I'm saying, Mia. Like, I
Yeah,
understand,
no,
like, it
I
maybe doesn't help,
understand.
but like these players are paid in 1 week what people make in 3-4 years.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, I do understand. Like I said, yeah, I understand that. I pay that same sort of money when I go to games myself because now I live down by the coast. It's a long ass journey for me to get to London and back, and it's a long ass day for me. So I do understand it, but I would, like I said before, I just think during the game, and I think the players' probably gripe was the fact that they were booing individual players, which I don't like. I think that doesn't really help during the game to boo individual players. I think booing at the end, I think that the players probably wouldn't take it as to heart maybe, but booing an individual player every time he touched the ball, I think probably that's where they've got a bit of a problem because that's their like a bit kind of singling somebody out, not the whole team. And I think maybe that's where their problem lied a little bit with it. I think that's
You
probably
know what I
something they
think?
I
thought
think
of.
Sam is
Yeah,
agreeing with you, Mia, saying, I don't think the contention is that we even booed. It's more of a disgrace, in my opinion, to boo your keeper every touch after a mistake. Great way to rebuild his confidence. So I think he's in your boat, Mia, where booing
Yeah,
individual players is maybe a bit wrong.
yeah. You know what I think it is as well, Jack? I don't think the players got an issue with the boo. I think where the issue comes from, I think it is the small pockets of the fans. It's like, it's not just the booze, it's the abuse that comes behind it, you know? Like what Ryan was saying before, Vicario was swearing at some of the fans. So if that came to a point where Vicario was swearing at the fans, that means the abuse he must have been getting from them from the back of his from the back there must have been horrendous. So that means the guy must have been like he had enough, turned around and swore at them. So
That's what I
it's
don't
not
agree with.
just the
Is the
booze.
abusing the
Yeah,
players.
that's the thing that I'm thinking. It's not just the booze. I think that's where we got it. The thing is, the small pocket that just went beyond the booze and went with abuse this time. So
If
this is
they're
where I think
abusing,
like this has
that's
got
wrong.
enough. Yeah,
Jerome,
this is
if
what
they're
I think
abusing the
happened.
fans, that is a disgrace.
Yeah.
They should not be abusing the fans. The fans should not be abusing the players. Full stop. That is a disgrace. If they're doing that, they shouldn't be in the stadium. They shouldn't be watching the team play if that is the case. The booze, I get, as I said, but to abuse a player, meant to be abusing the player for the player to turn around and finally turn around and say F off, there is a reason for it.
I agree with that.
I
More
get that
colourful
totally.
language than that, apparently, I heard it was more colourful language than just F off. It was more F off you. Yeah.
I've
Ryan,
seen you use some
if
pretty
somebody's
colorful
abusing me
language
like
though, to
that, I would
describe the
be doing the
previous
same
manager,
thing.
though, Ryan. To be honest, I've seen you use some pretty colorful language to describe previous
Yes, but
managers. So
then,
I think
Jack,
it's
I
all.
didn't use the woman's bodily part, though, did I?
Yeah, no, I'm not
I've
going to
never
let you
done
use
that.
that
Oh
colorful
no, yes
language
you
again,
have.
Ryan.
I've
But I'm
heard you
saying is
call
that you're a
him.
bit of a
I've
hypocrite
heard
for
you
calling
call
out
him that
people.
backstage. Don't even say that because I heard you call him that backstage. So do not tell me you've not called him that. No. I'm not having your ball S right from you because that's a lie. Don't bloody sit here and lie because I heard you say it.
Yeah, I think it's a bit rich
Yeah, but
coming from
I
you
never
to.
said it
I
on
think
the
it's a bit
thing,
rich,
though,
Ryan.
no.
Ryan, just hear me out here. I think it's a bit rich of you to call out other fans for using colorful language, and I've seen you use very colorful language to describe.
It was actually that said that.
It doesn't matter, Ryan, because I'm pretty sure the abuse he got from the fan was worse from what he said. Okay, this is
Exactly.
like it must have come to a boiling point where I'm sure things like the abuse, like the things they was telling to him came to a boiling point where he just turned around and just swore at them because
Well,
that happens. He's a human
somebody
being,
abuses
man.
you.
Go ahead,
It's not
Stefan.
great, but the things on the terraces over the last few decades, it's certainly a lot better, and it's a lot nicer to go to a football game now than it was back then.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, but
True.
if somebody's going to abuse you so much, obviously there's going to be a point where you're going to have the boiling point and you're going to lash out and snap, and that's exactly what Vicario done. Well, and to be honest with you, can you actually blame him for doing that? If that is the case, that if he's getting verbally abused the way he was.
I'll be consistent though. I mean, I got upset with Ange because he so many times, right, would chide back at the fans. One of the times he was arguing with like a Fulham fan who's 12 years old. You know, the guy had no sort of skin whatsoever. He had no thick skin to be able to deal with the pressure of losing games. Like I remember when he lost it multiple times with fans. One of the times, like I'm saying, he even lost it with a guy that was clearly not even a Spurs fan. So I think it's just one of those where, dude, you're being paid all this money to have to be able to deal with that. That might be, sadly, one of the things that you have to deal with is that maybe it doesn't seem fair, maybe it doesn't seem justified. I think you're compensated enough to sort of build
Jack, I
moral
get
backbone
where
enough
you're
to
coming
be able
from,
to
Jack.
deal with
I
it.
do get where
I
you're
think
coming
Dave
from.
and I
Though,
deal
Jack.
with more abuse than what some of these guys deal with, to be honest.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
Well, Jack, I do
Are
get
you
where you're
sure
coming
about
from.
that? Come on, I'm not being funny, Jack, but we don't know what
The
goes
human
on in their
factor.
with their private chats where we've had players had to shut down their accounts before because of the abuse they get. They definitely get a lot of abuse privately as well. So I feel like that saying that is a bit of like a flippant comment.
I think that's the cost of
Jack,
being famous.
it's a
Being paid
human
a lot of money,
factor.
Mia. Though I think it is like you just know like that you are going to be
I'm not.
targeted. Like you know that you
I
are
understand
going to have
that,
to deal with that.
but some of the abuse is disgusting. Like I feel like
I'm not
it's
saying it
to
isn't.
a point of disgusting. Like I don't feel like just because they get paid a lot of money that it should be acceptable just because they get paid lots of money to be told things that are just absolutely disgraceful. Like I
It's
don't
the
think
human
anybody should
factor.
have that.
See, you got to look at it the other way. It's the human factor of it as well. Like, for example, now, even though they're getting paid top X amount of money, say 175 grand a week or 200 grand a week, yeah, okay, that's good money for them. But you've got to look at the human factor side of it as well. They're human just like we are. So to abuse somebody else, no matter what they're doing, what profession they're in, is just wrong, full stop.
Yeah, but we're talking about
Agreed.
there's a difference between booing and being abusive. So I
Yeah, that's what
don't
we're
agree with
saying.
players. I don't agree with players being abused at all. I
Yeah,
don't agree with
definitely
anyone being
not.
abused. But booing, you got to have thicker skin than that. If that's
You
what's getting
definitely,
to you,
Stefan.
you need
Definitely.
to have thicker skin because you're playing for one of the biggest clubs. We're a Premier League club. We always have been one of the biggest clubs in England. You're playing in front of 60,000 per week. And the thing is, as well, is some of these players like they come into Hotspur Way, they get like massages, they get like their bags taken off them. They don't have to like lift a finger. So the minute things get tough for them on the pitch, they start complaining about it. And I think that's an issue as well. We pamper our players too much. And we give the even in the away dressing room, it's like a nice place for the team who's arriving. Like,
it's the culture that's been built around the club, though. That's the problem. It's the
like
culture that's been around the club. It's not like they go to a rundown, crappy training facility every week. They go to one luxurious training facility week in, week out. So they've got the top things in the training ground, the top pitches, the saunas, you name it. They've got it in there. The hotels, whatever you want to say. So basically, the minute they break a nail, they start crying.
Exactly. The minute they're taken out of their comfort zone and have to perform in front of 60,000 and a little pocket of fans, all right, there might have been quite a few that were booing them. They throw their toys out the pram. It's like, come on,
like
man.
I say, Stefan, I don't think it's that. I think it's the fact they were booing one individual player so much every time he touched the ball. I think that's probably.
Yeah, but he's an elite goalkeeper. He should be able to put that out of his mind.
Yeah, but booing him every single time he touched the ball isn't going to exactly help him with the mistake he just makes.
Of course it's not going to help, but we've got bigger problems than that.
I understand that, but I think that's what the players' problems were. I think honestly that the players didn't like that people were singling out an individual player. I just don't think they. I think
we haven't got mentally strong enough players then.
Well, Sam is bringing up this comment. Sam's bringing up this comment, which I think is fair, saying Vicario's fronted every loss in recent weeks, and this is how we repay him with his, with us sort of abusing him, with every touch. I think that's actually a fair point, to be honest. Saying that he has sort of fronted the losses recently instead of Romero, and then this is how we repair him. I think it's a fair point.
Yeah. Look, the thing is, Vicario came up and said he's at fault for the second goal. He took it on board. He's all right with the boos and everything. He's a big man. Like he said, he's a big man. He understands it. He understands what the fan feels and everything like that. So Vicario is not scared of anything like that. All I'm saying is the boos doesn't affect them. It's not the boos. I'm telling you guys, it's not the boos. It's just the abuse that's probably behind it. So they hear that as well. So it's just that.
Remember, okay, so I'll put this out to you then, right? And this goes both ways, right? Should the fan never be allowed in the ground again, right? And should Vicario be fined 2 weeks' wages for what he had said? Because I think they both.
Well, no, because if he hold on, the only reason that
Vicario should be fined.
Why should he be fined when actually he wouldn't have said that abuse if someone didn't abuse him? If he didn't, he wouldn't have responded if no one was shouting that at him. Like, if nobody shouted at him, then it wouldn't be a problem, would it? So that person should be shouting at them.
The fans should be gone as well. The fans should never have a season ticket ever again. But you can't just expect it to be one way and expect the fan to be.
But Ryan, it's retaliation, though, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's retaliation, though. The fan in the first place shouldn't be abusing our players in the first instance. So if the two wrongs don't make a right. You get me? Like, for me, the fans should be banned. Yes, Vicario should be spoken to about reacting, but I understand why he reacted at the same time. Because if somebody abuses you, you're not gonna sit there and take it, are you? Really? You're gonna say, what? Especially when you're on camera in front of so many thousands of people and somebody sees that reaction, people are going to jump on he should be banned train. But no, he's being verbally abused from behind. Why isn't he going to stick up for himself?
No, what I said.
Okay, so did anybody blame Eric Dyer for going in the stand?
Well, that Eric Dyer was
right, and that's what I'm saying. Vicario should be fined for what he had said in return. It doesn't matter.
Not at all.
Like you said, 2 wrongs don't make a right.
Not all though, Ryan. He's obviously reacted to something which was obviously something which was so disgusting. The fans shouldn't be in the bloody stand in the first place if he's going to abuse our players.
That's what I just said. I just said that the fans should be
banned. You can't be fined. You shouldn't. Why should Vicario be fined though? For what reason?
I agree with Chris there. Just a funny comment from
kids in the stadium still, and there could be a kid in the front seat for all we know. And then if that is the case, right, then he should be banned, and that fan should definitely. Well, either way, that fan should be banned totally and never get a season ticket ever again. But I also think he should watch what he's saying, right, and he needs to be banned. 2 weeks' wages. Just
Well,
depends what
maybe
the
I think
Jack
you
should
should
hold
be-
on. Maybe Jack should start fining you every time you come on and give loads of
I think you should be
rubbish
fined 2
news.
weeks'
So
wages.
things
You're
like
not
that
watching the
Norwich,
Europa
mate.
final, to be honest,
Yeah.
Ryan. But Mary W with a funny comment saying, "Let's get real. He probably deserved a huge bollocking for that mistake." An 11-year-old wouldn't make. Yeah, I kind of agree.
Exactly.
To be honest, it was one of the worst
exactly.
mistakes.
I mean, let's be honest. Like, we're not watching our kids' team play football. We're watching an elite sports club play football. So
Exactly.
there's a difference.
And it was an atrocious mistake from Vicario, and it wouldn't be the first one from him this season. I just want to this is speculative. I don't want it to turn into an argument about when we should boo, when we shouldn't boo. I just wanted to kind of get to the bottom of it, and then we'll move on to the Thomas Frank question. When did it all start? When did this sort of toxicity in the stadium start? Was it last
It's always
season?
been there.
Was it before that? Was it under Conte or Nuno or
It's
something?
been for years, Jack. It's been for years, man.
Yeah.
It's
I
been for
remember
years.
when we were a goal down under Harry Redknapp's time, and people were booing because we weren't putting in the effort in the first time. Booing has always been part of the game. It's just now it's because this incident has happened. People are talking about it.
It's highlighted it. Yeah.
Because everything's
It's-
online. Yeah.
Jack,
Look,
look,
booing has been always been
at
part
every
of the game.
stadium in the world. Every stadium, I'm sure in the US when the MLS is on, Jack, fans will boo guarantee if they're not happy with their team.
Yeah.
It happens at every single stadium. So yes, it's happened at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, but it's no different to the Etihad, St James's Park, no matter where you go.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I remember
yeah.
during Man City when we were 2-0 up at half time, earlier in the season, the Man City fans booed off their players at half time because they weren't happy. Obviously, it's going to happen at every stadium.
Yeah, Man City have had real issues trying to create an atmosphere because Pep's even taken on the fans there, but he's in a position to do so because he's so successful.
Yeah, I just wanted to get to the bottom of it. We didn't need to spend a ton of time on it.
Yeah,
Just
I mean,
wanted
if
to
you
get to the
take, I
bottom
think
of it.
Real Madrid are probably the biggest culprits for it because they, all they have to do is lose one game and they start the fans.
I
start
mean,
doing.
Madrid were
They are Real
disgraced.
Madrid
Look how
at the
they
end of the day.
treated Bale. Look how
Yeah,
they
that
treated
wasn't
Bale, and
good.
he scored them some amazing goals. He won them the Champions League one year, and with an overhead bicycle kick, and they still were absolutely horrible to the guy.
Yeah, and Casillas, they wasn't nice to Casillas, who was like a Real Madrid legend. But I think that club, they get like a lot of touristy fans like we do, and they go there probably on a one-off occasion expecting to be entertained, and if they're not, then they're going to boo. So that's also part of it.
Juventus did it
But
to
they
their
are
players
Real
weekly as
Madrid
well.
at the end of the day. We've got history, we've got trophies, we've got everything behind them for the fans to be like, how the way they act, because it's a team that won everything. So the fans have the right to react as to the way we react. But
Yeah,
in
but
terms
their
of
players,
us,
you don't
it's
hear
the
the players
same.
coming out moaning about it, do
Yeah,
they?
yeah.
They like, oh,
Look
we've
at the
been-
Italian clubs. Look at the Serie A, right? Look at the Juventus and the Inter Milans. Their fans are ruthless. Yeah, if they're not happy with the performance, they let you know they're not happy with their
they
performances.
wait for them in the car parks and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
exactly.
I mean,
Exactly.
yeah, they take it to a whole other level. You see the football in Argentina as well.
Comparing to a boot to players, fans waiting in the car park, ready to confront you face to face, is a hell of a bigger difference, isn't it?
Yeah, that's where I'm
exactly.
kind of coming at, Chris.
I mean, if we would,
it's not
if
like
we
we're
would,
that special compared to other clubs, really.
exactly.
Yeah,
And
no,
if you
we
think
don't
of the
have
clubs we've
ultras
just
here.
mentioned, we strive to be like a Juventus or Real Madrid or an Inter Milan, and when their players are booed, they don't kick up a fuss. They nail down and get on with it because they know that's their job and that's what they should be doing.
And they will
But
confront the fans as well. Say, listen, okay, we didn't try enough. We'll get on with it. Sorry about that.
That's the
And they'll
difference
actually
between
they'll talk to the fans.
Yeah, the mentality between our players and their players is night and day. Because there's no way that you would get Real Madrid players coming out in the press or Inter Milan players coming out in the press saying, "Oh, we get booed by our fans," blah blah blah.
And we're not happy.
That wouldn't happen. They wouldn't be there. Otherwise, they wouldn't be there. So there is a bit of an issue with that. Yes, we've got quality players, but maybe the mentality is just not
They're
right.
soft.
They're soft. Yeah, you can't be soft. We're talking about elite sport, for God's sake.
Yeah, they're soft. They're
Under
soft
11
mentality.
kickabout where you have to be all nicey nice.
Funny
Yeah.
comment
But
from
that's
Uncle
the
saying
thing about the club.
Pedro Porro
It's
accusing Spurs fans of booing, and then he probably would go to Real Madrid if given the chance, which is kind of
But
a funny
he'd be
comment.
told he would be better advised there. what you did at Spurs, don't do that here, because here we knuckle down and we get on with it.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
seriously.
It's funny because it's like a cat's underbelly. It's our players have got a soft underbelly, and when you like you said, like when you look at somewhere like Madrid, they've got the hardest underbelly that you could ever have, and they just crack on and just get on with it. Get on with
Yeah,
it.
exactly. Yeah.
That's what you're trying to get at, and I agree with you on that 110%. Because this is why it's just ridiculous, and I think I just don't know where else we can go with this conversation, because whatever we all say, it's just our personal opinions. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but I think it had to happen because I think it actually probably took up more. Some people are saying, why are we talking about this? To be honest, from coming from the outside looking in, because I've been gone for the last week, that seemed to take up more of the headlines and more of the newspaper articles, the booing and the relationship between the players and the fans, than the actual results and the performance themselves. So to say that, like, oh, we're making this up out of thin air, believe me, like, I'm trying not to. I'm actually just going by what the headlines have been telling me, and clearly that took up
They're
more
just
attention than the
They're
actual
deflecting
performance.
from that. They're deflecting. That's what they're doing.
Seriously. But let's go on to Thomas Frank. Stefan, is he under pressure?
Oh yeah, 100% he is. Yeah, I think he's only 2 more. If we get hammered tomorrow and lose at Brentford, I think that's it. I think it's heading that way.
Stefan, please don't say we're going to get hammered tomorrow.
I think we've got to put in more than results. I think we've got to put in performances as well, because the performances just haven't been there. So it just seems to me like it's a matter of time.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I mean, do you stand by that? Probably the next 2 games. I sort of said, Stefan, like, if he loses to Fulham, I'm worried for the guy. And I said that like 2 weeks ago, just because that felt like a must not lose, and he did lose.
Yeah, I think the issue we've got is who do you bring in? That's the thing. That's another thing that's going to you're not going to be able to get a top level manager at this time. So we might have like an interim until, but it'll be sad because it'll be like we just like given up already, and it's like December. Like there's so much to play for. Like we could still make European places. We could still have a good run in the FA Cup, but I don't give us much hope really. Either way now, like with Frank or without. So
yeah. Well,
I'm not worried about where
Frank's
going to be. Pressure. Yeah, sorry, I'm not worried about whether he's under pressure or not, because to me the club will give him time. They will not get rid of him, because if they do that, they will say they made another mistake again, and we have to go back to the drawing board again. They will not do that. I can guarantee you they will stick to Frank as long as they can right now, because if they do, they will say again, because we stick with Ange, we have to stick with Frank as well. They will stick with him. And what I'm worried about is where we finish with Frank. Is like literally, where do we finish with this guy? Because if we keep playing the way we're playing, it's going to be another horrible disaster season. And Ryan, finishing 17th, let's see what prize money we will get this time. With no Champions League, with nothing to play for. So let's see, man. So this time, no, I don't know, man. I don't know. I seriously don't know what we're gonna do. He better start like improving. But to me, he's under pressure. Yeah, kind of. But will the club react? I don't think so. I don't think the club will react at all. They will give him time. They will stick with him. They will try their best to see where they end up with this guy. But what I'm worried about is again where we finish. Because it looks like
what's there to stick behind, Ryan? Like what, and Jerome, what's there, like what evidence, this is where I'm coming with this whole patience word that people keep saying. I'm patient as long as I see something to be patient for. I think that applies to almost anything in life, really. Like you don't just sort of give someone the benefit of the doubt if they're not showing you anything really at all to show that the behavior or the form or anything's going to change. So with Thomas Frank right now, what is he actually showing that is worth being patient for?
Who was that to, me or to
you or Jerome? Really, I think you're kind of probably
to Ryan. I want to know from Ryan. Ryan,
you want to know from Ryan, because I'm confused what I'm supposed to be patient for in the last. I think we're looking at the last Premier League home form. 4 out of 5 games, we haven't won.
Yeah, but then you say that we've not won, yeah, right? But then he has, like, it goes to the same old thing. We need players that are going.
We've got them.
No,
he was brought in. He was brought in to do better with the players that apparently people were saying last season that should be better than 17th. The whole narrative last season was these players are better than 17th. We've brought in a new manager. They're not that far off of 17th.
But then we're not that far from where the top half of the table again either. So,
well, we haven't won a game in over a month.
And it takes time. So you're going to tell me, yeah, right, that we're just going to kick this manager out, yeah, right? And then what? Like, we have to restart this whole cycle all over again just to then have to then do the same thing around. We're going around in circles. We need to give this manager time, and we need to have the quality and let him build his own squad, because at the moment this is not his squad. When you look at all the players, these are not his squad.
He's got a better squad than
while
what
I
I
agree, while I agree that a manager needs to be given time, it's a bit like a relationship, though. If you know this relationship isn't going anywhere, you feel like it's a dead end, then you're not going to give it time, are you? Because you know it's about giving time to the correct person. Otherwise, you're just wasting your time, innit? And if we get to January and we give him more players, and then he's still doing badly, and then what? And then we're going to have players in that he wanted or that had been approved by him just to get another manager. And I don't want to not give a manager time, but I think it has to be the correct person. We have to see something to be able to give them time. That's the problem, isn't it? That's the main problem.
We're not actually seeing, we're not seeing that product of giving him time. No, this is for me, right? Now, I said last week, Jack, and I actually unequivocally, yes, we probably will lose against PSG. We did, but we put in an effort. So I give that game, I'll push that game to the side. But I did say, if he loses to Fulham, which we did, he will be under major pressure. So the pressure is now on him. Tomorrow, we may lose against Newcastle, but put a performance in. And if Frank can't get the performance out of the players, there's something he needs. I'm sorry, but we need to find somebody who can actually bring something out of those players, because at the moment we're not seeing what he's bringing to those players. So and I'm sorry, but Ryan, you're saying we haven't got the players. We've got the players there, but it's the way they're playing at the moment. It's like they haven't got a clue what Frank's telling them.
It's not even that. Right, because I want to go back to what dropped kick your attention, and then I'll come on to what you were saying. Right, look, first of all, I would be slamming Ange because he played killer. He was playing suicide football, so I've got the right to do. That's my opinion. I can say what I like about him, and I'm not even.
We've conceded 10 goals in the last 3 games.
But now we're playing graveyard football.
And we're still getting football. It's one end to the other.
Yeah.
So what's the big change?
I'd rather be playing graveyard football every single day of the week than being.
Oh, what are we doing here? What are we doing here?
We're still losing, Ryan. We're still losing games.
But we're still conceding 5 goals per game. We conceded 5. We conceded 4 against Arsenal. We conceded 5 against PSG. We conceded 2 against Fulham.
11 goals in 3 games.
Football has put it like this: that graveyard football is going to put me in a coffin. I'll be in the graveyard before they players.
Yeah. Well, how is it any better? How is it any better?
That's exactly what I'm asking for. How is it any better to now?
Yeah, last season, 13 games, we were 7th. Now we're 12th.
Right, let's just simmer down a sec, right? The way I see it, Ryan, is that when you watch him on the pitch, I don't see what he's trying to do on that pitch. Like, there's no idea of what style of football and what kind of team he wants us to be. And that's a problem. That is a massive problem. You've got to have an identity.
Look how
you can't not have an identity.
The players are so confused when they go out.
How are we meant to play this beautiful football, right?
But that's not what I said.
On the field, because that's the only way, Mia, right? We are going to get anywhere is if we bring in the quality players that he wants, right? Because this isn't, like I said, this isn't his team at the moment. He was only given a few players in this January window. Oh, and that reminds me, right? If you're only going to give a manager half a transfer window, how was he meant to get anybody in?
We had the best transfer window. We've had the best transfer window in like 20 years. Like, everybody was raving about it. Like, with the players we've got in. I mean, last year we didn't have Moani, Kudos, and Xavi. These are 3 elite Champions League players.
And
Okay.
Paulino as well is a good player.
I have a
Well,
question.
yeah.
I have a
He's
question,
proven
right?
player.
So everybody's talking about Thomas Frank and how his formation sets up, etc., right? Why does it every single game recently look like our fullbacks are scared to go past the halfway line? Are they being instructed to do that, or are they just doing it by themselves?
They're
Because our
doing it by
fullbacks are not.
It's by design,
They're
isn't
doing
it?
it by themselves. They're not listening to a word, right? That because look, Frank
Yeah, but-
is the best manager we have had in a long time, and if
No, he
no one
isn't.
can see that on this panel, right? We are got hello as well, Core. How are you, bro? Look, right at the end of the day, right? Frank, you just need to give time. You can't just tell me and say that you want him gone because he's playing dead football. It's not. At the end of the day, it is
Graveyard.
not Frank.
Yeah, but have you
It's
watched
not
the
Frank.
games?
Yeah, but then that's not because of Frank. That's because of
Graveyard.
the
Because
players.
of Frank, he's the
Don't start
manager.
about the players, man. Don't start about the players because now I'm getting sick of us hearing about the players.
It's
If the
graveyard.
tactics are wrong, if the tactics are crap, it's the players gonna play crap. Okay?
And
Exactly.
If you are
he's
saying
chopping and
Ange was playing,
changing.
if you are saying Ange was playing kamikaze football and we lost because of that, it's because of the tactics. Okay? So let's stop about the nonsense about the players. The players are there. They are here to listen to what the coach tells them. And if the coach said them wrong and always been changing the tactics over and over in every single game, we don't even know what he's playing every single game, what formation is going to be on, what tactics he's going to play for the next game. We don't even know what the hell he's going to do for them every single game. We don't even know what's his strongest 11 right now. So what's the point? It's been 13 games, man. You should already know who's your strongest 11, what tactics you're going to play, what you're going to do, and stop with the nonsense of trying to say we can't lose a game and just be like freaking cowards all the time. Okay?
Not even
Yeah,
better
but
than Nuno. He hasn't even won a
it's about
manager of the
being
month.
brave.
The
How
biggest,
many
the
times
biggest.
have I tell everybody it's the flaming players? We haven't got the
Yeah,
players.
but Ryan, you can't keep
We
repeating the
have
same
got
point,
the
man.
players.
Because
You
no
can't
one
keep
They're
repeating about the
internationals.
players, man.
Yeah.
This is
But-
nonsense. The players are there to listen to the instruction of the manager. The manager is playing away, they are setting away, and then they're playing managers away. Okay? So let's just understand this. Frank is setting up in a way, but they cannot play, they cannot win, and they can't do anything.
Yeah,
The
and in my
play-
opinion,
the-
you can't be telling me Colomwani isn't good enough. The guy has been playing in a graveyard football, to Mia's terms and Brian's terms. He actually looks quite good, Colomwani, to be
It
honest.
does.
But he's
How
not
much
been
did
given
Paris
anything.
Saint-Germain pay for him? It was like 90 million or something like that. Like, you're not a bad player if you're worth that amount at some point in your career. Like, come on, let's be serious.
The
I
players
agree.
are supposed to be a representation of what the manager wants, and at the moment, the
Yes.
players on the pitch aren't showing us anything because they're obviously not been instructed to do
They're
that.
clueless.
Whatever, that a plan of some sort or an identity of any sorts. That's your problem.
And I
And
think
they look
what it is
they
as
look
well,
totally
he's chopped and
clueless.
changed. He's chopped and changed so much. He's tried out so many different formations and several systems. The players are getting confused. And like I said to you earlier, when they were having their little team huddle at the end of the first half on the weekends, it's because they didn't know what the fuck they were being told. So they had to try and figure it out themselves. And I reckon that reaction was probably from that little team huddle. It probably wasn't from anything Frank said.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, 100%. It was definitely the team huddle. It was nothing that Frank said.
No, I agree. Let's take this comment from good to pick up to AK Shags. Please, everybody, smash the like button if you think everyone's talking shit. Big up to you, AK. But there was this comment from Gadu, and I'll pass it on to Corey. I'm trying to find it, but I'll maybe just try to paraphrase it. Basically, Corey, Thomas Frank was brought in, right, because he was this adaptable manager. He was someone that could get the best out of, let's say, a bad bunch of players. Now Brian is saying, oh, the players aren't good enough. But Thomas Frank was brought in for that precise reason, that he would actually get more out of maybe players that were underperforming, perhaps not good enough. But it seems like we're playing even worse. So what's the deal? I don't think we can hear you, Corey.
Yeah, cool. We can't hear you, mate.
Corey, can't hear you, mate.
Does anyone want to take that question? Because I think that's a fair question from Gadu. I'll try to bring it up here, but I think it is a fair question. Yeah. Frank was celebrated as an adaptable tactician before he arrived. So that infers that he's doing exactly what people were excited about. Tinkering is precisely what people said they wanted. Adapt. I think this goes against Ryan's point of the players aren't good enough. Well, Thomas Frank was brought in to get more out of a bad bunch of players then.
Yeah, yes, he was. He was to a certain point. Yeah, but the thing is, right? He's chopped and changed the team so much. The team has lost its identity now. 1 week you're playing a double pivot with Bentancur and Paulinho. 1 week you're dropping Papa Matasar back to the bench, and he doesn't know why he's being dropped. Then you've got dropping Paulinho back to the bench. He's like, "Why am I being dropped?" There's no sustainability in the team. There's no stability. So when he's chopping and changing the players, it's causing confusion within amongst the team because they're like, "Well, 1 week he's in." 1 week he's in. 1 week.
It's not just the personnel; it's the player roles as well. It's the roles.
Exactly. Stafford, that's exactly what I was coming to.
Yeah, you doggy, you play on the left, you stay back. Next thing, it's like you play in the middle, like where you did. You stay up left. It's like it's all over the place. No, all the players
It's
are
like
confused.
1 minute Porro's told to stay at his right back position. Then he's told to make it as a fullback and go to operate on the wing. 1 minute Kudos is told right to stay in the centre. Then he's being told back to go back on the right hand side. It's like the players haven't got a clue what they're doing, and they're like looking at Frank for instruction, and he's not giving it to them.
No, agree.
So there has got to be something there where Frank's saying, right, this is how we're going to play week in, week out. This is the starting 11, what I want to play, right? And you have to earn your spot to get into that team, not chop and change week in and week out, because it's not sustainable the way he's done it.
Yeah, and the frustrating thing is, like, we could see, like, Xavi and Odegaard, they were building up a bit of chemistry, and then he changes it. So as soon as the players get used to playing with each other, it's almost like that little bit of chemistry they were building is gone because he's chopped and changed the team around again.
Also, he's gone from playing a back four to a back five. Then he's gone to playing a back three with the two wing backs. And then it just does not work. So no matter what he's doing, he's just not confusing the players.
That's the thing. Like you said, Jack, it's like you have to see something if you want to like give it time. And I'm not seeing anything. And like
I haven't.
He had an entire pre-season to implement his ideas. And so far, what we can see is his ideas is just chopping and changing every game, and it's not working. And he just hasn't got the personality for the job either. So it's only heading one way. We'll have to have a special show when he gets sacked.
Corey,
good evening, all. Are we all there? Can I? Yeah.
Evening, Corey.
It's been a while since I've been about. It's not so much what Ryan's argument is. The players. We have a 25-man squad. It's the quality of player. We have 25 players there. How many quality players do we have to compete with some of these other teams? And then you look at some of these players. Do they make even the bench of Brighton? They don't. So again, it's a quality level. We've gone from the likes of Kane, Bale, Son, Dembele, Modric to Johnson, Bentancur.
See, Corey, that's what I've been arguing the whole time, mate. I said it's the quality of players, mate.
It's not so much the tactics as well. You've got to understand that this manager's come in like every other manager before and has had to work with like the skeletons of old. You know, we've still got Ben Davies here, and he's the only survivor from the Poch.
Yeah, but he's not even played like a minute though. Like, to be honest,
yeah,
he's still got a contract and employed by the club. If we're going to be this so-called big club, we get rid of.
Yeah, but you're always
I would blame just quickly.
Hold on,
I would blame Ben Davies as soon as the next guy, but the guy hasn't even played a minute of football.
He hasn't touched the ball. The
fact is, you're bringing up players that hardly played. You're saying quality, but we've got Kudos, who's a quality player. We've got, I would say Romero is a quality. Van der Ven's a quality player. Pauline is a quality player. Mawani's I don't understand how you can say that players that we've got aren't quality, because they are definitely. There is quality. Xavi we've seen in the past. He has got quality. So I just think that that's such a easy throwaway comment to basically deflect from the fact that it's Thomas Frank's tactics who's not getting the best out of these players.
Agreed.
Yeah, the players we've got, they're not good enough to
like Corey in though, because sorry.
Injuries alone, have we really got the quality to go toe-to-toe with some of these other bigger teams? We do.
We have before.
We're having another managerial go around here. We've gone full tilt again, haven't we? We've gone from I was never a fan of the previous manager. I'll put that on record. The guy played such atrocious football, left us open more than anything. When you're 2-0 up at Brighton and then you end up losing to Brighton last season, who had at that time 14 players out injured. Last season, let's look at our cup run,
And look
shall
at the
we?
ones we're losing to this
Right.
season, Corey. We've
Yeah,
lost
I
to
know, but
Fulham
now look
this
Exactly.
season too.
Yeah, but
But
last
Corey,
season, Leicester
did we
took
have
us
quality
fourth
against
top
City
half
when we
last
beat
year.
them 2-0? Did we have quality to
Yeah,
compete
we
against
seem to
City? We
always,
beat them
we
2-0.
always seem to find a way to beat City every year. It's like the players actually turn up.
Well, that's a triple winning City that we just beat. So
I'm sure we had
what are
more
we saying
points
here?
this time last season than we do now.
Only 2 more.
Well, it's not
But
much.
then
In
we
it,
went
is
off and lost 22 in the league, 26
It's
in the
not any better.
competitions, banged
It's not better,
harder
Corey.
last
It's
year
not
than
better.
anything. And
Would you say
It's not better.
still trying to find ourselves under a new manager. It's easy going last season with Ange, going stick 10 men up on the halfway line and hope Van
Well,
Ven's
now we have
hamstrings
10
don't
men.
give up.
10 men. Now we have 10 men in our own block. Okay, so we come from one extreme, we go to another extreme. Where's
We've
the
gone from-
balance? Where's the balance?
We've-
We go from
Jerome.
attacking football, crazy kamikaze football, to now coward football, terrorist football with 10 men in our own box. What
And
are
it still
we
hasn't
doing
improved the defensive, and it still hasn't improved defensively
here?
either.
What are we changing?
Corey.
How can you improve defensively, right? Listen, one good season, Dominic, who only had one good season at Bournemouth, who couldn't cut it at Chelsea, who couldn't cut it at Liverpool, who had to leave England to go and try and find his
He
name.
hasn't played a minute though
You've
either,
got
man.
players like Richie.
He hasn't played.
He hasn't played.
playing players that haven't
He hasn't played.
All last season we played Dom, and what was his return?
He was our
6,
third
7
highest
goals.
goal scorer. He didn't do that terrible.
It was our third high score, but let's leave that there, yeah. But Corey, we've
Sorry,
gone from playing
I would rather be
offensive
a little
football.
bit more solid at a back, with a back four that knows what they're doing, to
We're not
beat
Solid
more
how?
solid.
everybody
We're
forward.
conceding
How solid how?
goals.
Sorry,
How is
Right.
that solid? We just hit
the light
11
bulb
goals in
moment for
3
every
games.
Spurs fan, the light bulb moment for every Spurs fan last season should have been Chelsea. We went down to 9 men. The manager didn't listen to the medical staff with 2 players still in the red zone. 2 defenders come back, and what
How
happened?
do you know that? Would you
That's
there? Do you know
what
they
happened.
was in the red
What happened?
zone? No,
What are you
don't say
talking about
things that are
last
He was
fact,
year?
told
like
he
they're
didn't
fact,
listen
because
to
they're
the
not
medical
fact.
Wait, hold on. Wait,
Gordon,
hold on,
do you
Corey.
know that for a fact
Corey,
before
what
you
is your
use
point
that?
right now? What is your
know
point
that?
right now?
You
Last
don't.
season's
What is
finished.
CS.
Where's my
What I
point
want to
was?
understand is, Corey,
Yeah.
what
Let's
is your
sack
point right
another
now? You're
manager,
going
shall we?
about Ange. You're going on about Ange, but
So
what is your point right now?
Why do we chin him off? 17th isn't good enough. A cup win has something you
Corey,
don't lose.
Corey, you're saying we've gone defensive, yeah? We've shipped 11 goals in 3 games. We've conceded 5 against PSG, 4 against Arsenal, 2 against Fulham. So where is the difference between the kamikaze football where we were conceding goals to the ultra defensive graveyard we're watching now? There is no difference. There's no difference
exactly.
whatsoever.
And let's
There
be
is no
clear,
difference
Fulham could have
whatsoever
scored a
on
lot
that.
more than 2 at the weekend.
Yeah, they should have been
4-0
4-0 up in the first
Changing
half.
your system every week doesn't help. Balancing the players, it doesn't help. Chopping and changing.
And that's on Thomas Franklin, isn't it?
That's on
when you
Frank.
go
That's
through
not a
the player-
player's decision.
That's on Thomas Franklin, isn't it?
So there's a quality issue.
No, there's not a quality issue. Well, how comes
There
most of
is.
this squad finished 5th?
There
They
isn't a
finished 5th the
quality
previous
issue.
season. The previous season, they finished 5th.
With not having to play
It's
2 games a week.
It's not a quality issue. It's
So,
a
yeah, but they're
depth
still
issue.
showing
We
they
don't
can
have
compete with
depth.
teams.
That's the
Then
thing. It's not
everybody's
about
gonna beat
quality.
every manager over the head. Oh, the 10 games, these 10 games. Lucky to get a result versus Sheffield United. After those 10 games,
Dude, why are we talking about shit from last season,
How
though,
many
bro?
more-
Why are we still talking
Why
about
are we
Ange,
still talking
Corey?
about-
What
we're
are
talking
you
about this
on
season,
about
man.
Ange? Why are we talking about Sheffield Wednesday? It's last season. We're talking now. What
That's
is
like
the
2
point of
seasons
you
ago. That's
talking
like
about
2 seasons
Ange when we're
ago. Why are we
talking now?
about 2
Some of
seasons
you
ago?
lot still
What
got your
was-
rose-tinted glasses on, thinking that one manager that just got sacked from Nottingham Forest was the answer forward from last year when finishing second.
No one
just
said
because
that.
we
Seems
think
like you
that,
said
we're not
it.
saying that
the
about
answer.
No one
Frank.
said
Who
that,
just
Joey.
said that?
All right, I'm gonna
No one
stop
said
here
that.
because I'm gonna stop you here because I feel like we're just talking. I don't know. It seems like maybe Ryan has invited Corey on or something like
Oh,
that
no, no,
because
no.
we're just talking about just shit
Because-
from 2 seasons ago at this point.
Yeah, I
even know
don't
what
understand.
we're
I have
doing.
no
fact is
clue
we're
what
talking about
Corey is
Frank.
talking about. He's going on about
No
Ange
one's
for
mentioned
some
Ange.
reason,
How
talking
can you-
about like Sheffield, talking about
you sit there
kamikaze
and
football.
Judge
No,
Frank on
this
what
is
he's
worse.
done. That's what you need to judge Frank on this season, not what
Yeah.
happened before him.
What he's done so far, nothing really.
Exactly.
13.
That's what
Stefan,
we've
I
been
totally
talking
100%,
about.
100% agree.
Manager, 13 games in.
Listen, but do you
what
not
about
think
the
I
other
made
games?
some
What
fair
about the cup
points,
games?
Corey, about the fact that we're not seeing any identity on the pitch? Like we're not
There
seeing.
is no
But I'm
identity
talking.
because
I'm talking.
they're
But
changing
no,
every
don't.
year. It's
But
Frank
no,
apologist.
The reason is because basically when you look at Frank, he's come in. I never said nothing about none of us have been talking about no previous managers, but people are going to use that to basically deflect from the fact that this season Frank has not done good enough with the players that he's got that are definitely good enough to beat some of the teams that we've been losing to and shipping goals, lots of goals too. So I feel like everybody said he's going to come in and shore up the defence, and he has not done that. He hasn't given us a style of play. He keeps playing this football that's absolutely, like I say, graveyard football, and it's not going to be acceptable to a lot of fans, Corey, and you have to accept that that's also the case. Even if people didn't like Andrew's football, they can also not like Frank's football too. That's also can be true.
Yeah, you have to back the right man. We all want a manager that's going to stick around for a while, but you have to make sure there's something there for us to believe in. I think if we could find someone that would bring us, a good balance of play, and, we're not asking to be top of the league. We're just asking for, what's our identity? What are we as a club? Like, just some communication.
Agreed. See, Stefan, that brings me back to the question I asked Ryan earlier for Corey, right? Do you think Fulham's squad's better than ours? Yes or no?
It's a good question.
Corey,
no, it's
Corey.
not.
So how are we losing? How do we lose to Fulham at home? So how do we lose at home to Fulham then if our squad's not better than us? If our squad's better than us?
First 5 minutes was completely scattergun. The second goal, I completely blame the goalkeeper for. The first goal,
obviously that was. Yeah, but see.
So you got 80 minutes to rectify the mistake, and he doesn't do anything.
You've got 80 minutes.
Exactly.
But then you've got to look at this manager. You've got to look at him and go, right, what players can he trust and what players can't he trust?
He's got 80 minutes to put it right, though. He's got
80 minutes to change his tactics. He's got 80 minutes to make it right, and he didn't do anything.
Exactly. The second half, it looks like the players took it on themselves to try to go attack and try and get the goals. For me, Frank had the first half, 35 minutes in that first half to try to put things right, to get instruction to those players to put it right. And in my opinion, watching the game, he didn't do so.
Yeah, I agree.
That's an opinion. Everybody's got their opinion on this. At the end of the day, if we keep going down and kicking the can and kicking the can and kicking the can with these managers, soon we're going to be looked at as no manager's going to come to us, really, are they? No top quality manager. I wouldn't
say Frank's top quality. I would say he's mid-class.
I don't think you can say we keep kicking the can down with the manager if you're stuck about a manager from 2 seasons ago, really. Like, you're kicking the can backwards, in my opinion, really. Just the same as Ryan's been doing. You're kicking the can backwards.
You're just kicking the can backwards. You've been going about Ange the whole time.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't
know what we're doing here, really.
Yeah.
I think we'll just sort of finish off with maybe just talking about, again, I think Stefan brought up a good point about the next 2 games. If we lose to Newcastle, if we lose to Brentford, basically, should he go? I'll throw this one to you, Mia. If he loses the next 2 games, should he go?
It's really difficult because I'm not actually Frank out yet. I need to see better performances. So I feel like, Jack, if we lose but we give better performances and have some sort of like looking like he's actually got a plan of what he wants our team to be, then no, because I think that's what everybody's probably looking for. I think most people just want to see some sort of plan, some sort of actual identity in our team. I think that would go a long way, because even when we tried against PSG, people were like, wicked, at least we tried, at least we looked like we were pressing. Like, we don't even press much anymore. Like, at least with that we were pressing. With the City game we press, some games we press, sometimes we don't. So if we see more of that, I think that will go a long way for Frank, in my honest opinion.
I felt like in the Fulham game we were pressing. I'm just more concerned with just us with the ball.
I'm not just saying just playing, but I'm just saying
we have no idea what we're doing.
I'm not just saying about pressing, Jack. I'm just saying in general, an actual idea of what we're actually about as a team. I feel like if we see that, I think that will go a long way, and some effort in games where we're not getting 0.01 XG in a game of football, like in a half of football. So like we're actually attacking. I think that would go a long way with people.
I get you. I do get you. I'm going to go to Chris next. Chris, next 2 games, we lose to you already Frank out, but next 2 games, if he loses, is it more justified?
Jack, unless the results improve and drastically, and it improves the XG, and also comes up and shows us an identity, I'm Frank out until that time. Until then, I'm Frank out. Until I can see an improvement in the squad where they're actually putting in a performance in, and they actually show us a plan of what they're doing. Until then, I'm Frank out. I'm going to Newcastle to watch the game, Jack, tomorrow. I'm going to be watching from the stand to see if they put a better performance than what they did against Fulham.
And
I'm not holding my breath, but
yeah,
I'm not holding my breath, Jack. But we'll see.
And to you, Ryan, I mean, if we lose the next 2 games, we could easily be 17th, which is where you would say that, you know, your tolerance would fade. At least you said that a week ago. Maybe your opinion has changed.
No, if it's where we end up at the end of the season is where I was trying to get with it. Now, we are not going to be ending 17th again because there's no way we're going to end 17th. Right now,
Sorry, can you give me the lottery numbers as well then? Because you can tell the future, can you? Don't be ridiculous. You can't say that 100% because that's not true. You can't say that.
I'm guaranteeing it, Mia. I am guaranteeing it that we are not going to finish 17th because
what about 16th? What about 16th?
We won't be finishing 16th either. We'll be right
what about
where I said.
What about 15th?
In that top 8.
What about 20th?
Right? So if he loses his next 2 games, hell no, am I going to be anywhere near Frank out. I've said all the way through the season, he's having a free pass, and he is going to be. He'll get us in that top half, and we're going to be perfectly fine. I promise you guys that.
We're 1 point off of 15th.
But then we're only 4 points off the top.
Where we finish?
Top half.
Well, hang on. Are we talking about where we're finishing? Because if you're talking about finishing 17th or anywhere like that, then obviously there's going to have to be a conversation about it. But until we know where we finish, we can't be having Frank out or anything. We cannot. It is ridiculous.
I mean, you can't tell people they cannot, because that's also not true. That's their opinion. People are entitled to their opinion. So you can't tell people they cannot, because that's factually not correct.
I'm just saying it from my point of view, right? I won't be going out calling for Frank's head anytime this season. No way. There's no way, right? Unless it's 17th or 20th at this rate. No, it won't be 17th to 20th at this rate, because right when we look at it, right, Frank is a very good manager. He needs the quality players. We haven't got the quality of players in the starting 11, and we haven't got enough players to fight for those places, because someone like Johnson, he's not going to be fighting. He's not fighting kudos for. He couldn't even fight his way out of a wet paper bag personally. But
how many goals did he get last season?
Didn't even play last game though, man. Like, again, it's like the Ben Davies comment.
Oh,
I
love
how many
goals
no,
scored by tapping it in.
I love blaming Johnson and Ben Davis as much as the next guy, but they don't even.
They haven't even
play
for crying out loud.
They haven't touched the
why are we
ball.
even blaming them?
They could do with Johnson's goal.
Coming from someone who's totally biased against these guys, but like, I don't even know what we're doing here, bringing up these players. Like bringing up Tom Solanke, a guy who hasn't even played all season.
Yeah.
Like Paul Milani has looked brilliant, to be honest. Like in terrible football, I don't even know what the hell we're doing at this point, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
That's my opinion. I don't think we're going to be finishing anywhere near the bottom half. We're going to be in the top half by the end of the season, between the places of 5th to 8th, and we'll be fine. We just need to let some
you said the
players.
Players aren't good enough. How can they finish that high if the players aren't that good?
Because
good point.
we've still got the January transfer window, yeah?
How many? So we need 11 players in the January transfer window to do that.
I'm not saying we need 11, because we've got the likes of Kudos, who's quality, Van der Ven, that's quality.
Oh, so we have got quality. So we have got quality.
We say we don't have quality. Stop.
Oh, look, the hypocrites at it again. Hypocrites at it again.
Stefan, anything? I used your question from earlier, Stefan, as a question to finish off with. I mean, anything you wanted to add to it, or anything that maybe you want to get off your chest?
No. So you asking me in the next 2 games, is he gonna? Do I want him gone if he doesn't?
Would you write out Frank out on your whiteboard? Would you write Frank?
I don't see it. There's nothing whatsoever that wants me to keep this manager at the moment. There's no style of play. I don't like the way he puts us down in the media.
Agreed.
I don't like the way he's almost just like telling our players like, you're basically not good enough, so this is what we're going to do. I don't like the chopping and changing. I don't like the player roles changing. It's not good enough, and he won't be here because even if we ride out these next 2 games, he's not going to be the man to take us forward. And I don't really want to do what Ryan said and keep him there just for the season. Like, we've still got a lot of things to play for. I'd rather see us, if possible, get someone else in that could get more out of these players, because like the players he listed, we do have quality. So if we can get someone new, like if someone suddenly becomes available for whatever reason, or we can get a decent interim, then I'd rather that than what we're watching at the moment, because it's toxic. And all the things we discussed at the start of the show, they're the kind of things that happen towards the end of a manager's tenure. So I think it's kind of inevitable. We can discuss, do we want him, do we not want him? At the end of the day, like, we can see what's going on before our own eyes, so it's not even down to us. And the likelihood is he will be going. So
honestly, like We Are Spurs TV's last comment, and no coach can coach this lot. There's certain players here that are very good, but then there are so many players here.
How are we getting in the top 10?
So below the quality line.
So where do you think we'll finish then?
Where do you think I'll be happy between 5th and 9th if it's still an improvement last season.
We ain't going to get that though, are we? We ain't going to get that though. The way we're playing,
yeah, but then, like you're sitting there saying with Ryan, can't, like with the magic ball, you can't honestly sit there and say, "Oh, we're not going to get that." Then, so you must. Okay, I want the lottery numbers now.
Yeah, but how do you believe we're going to get that if you don't?
How do you expect to get there? Because he said this lot cannot be coached. So how do you expect to finish 5th and 9th?
Exactly.
Right.
This is what I'm saying.
Right, let's look at the start of the season in the summer. What happened? New manager, new coaching staff. Levy went. A lot of new stuff has happened, but then we've still got two-thirds of this ownership that have been here for 25 years. You can cut ahead of Hydra. You still got more heads to contend with. Lewis's kids, you can't even call them kids. They're in their 60s, for God's sake. Why call them Lewis's kids?
Yeah.
The Lewis family and Enoch are still here. So there's still that 2/3 of that ownership that are either going to put their hands in their pocket or still act the same. So I'm still sitting here going, it's down in the ownership from top to bottom. The ownership should be sitting here and holding themselves accountable for, I'm going to say, a good 15 years of neglect. We've had quality players come in on transfer and then they've ended off down at Chelsea when we've given them medicals. We've been linked to players and never put in enough money because they didn't like spending it. Now, show us some intent, board, please, in January, even in the summer. Show us some intent with some better players on what we have, then I won't have a problem. We're still sitting here from so many skeletons of old. And we're still sitting here with players who just aren't good enough. Bentoncourt before his injury was absolutely fantastic, but I can vouch for what an ACL can do to your career. I can vouch in the cold when my ACL starts giving me absolute jip from when I was 15. I got to sit here and question some of the players that we brought in the last few seasons. We sold Kane and signed the likes of Dominic Solanke and Tell and Odebert. Those three combined just don't make a player like Kane that we've lost, or even a Son. We've got to start really looking in at our youth development as well. We keep bringing these kids up and not really giving them a chance to shine, and then we end up seeing them play better elsewhere over the last few years.
Who, out of our youth, who's played better that we've got rid of? They're not obviously good enough. They obviously haven't been given a chance for a reason. Let's be real. And we can't just keep giving them, they need proper time to get good. And we need to send them on loan and get them to see if they're good. Who's gone out?
I totally understand the loan system. I get it. I mean, I'm not like Ryan on this.
I know.
You have to loan some of these players out so that you can see them develop. But when you're sending a lad out like Mikey Moore to the Scottish League, whose league is ranked 46th in world football, 45 places behind the English Premier League, and then when you've got countries like Belgium, whose league sits 9th in world football, I think I'd rather know where I'd want to send players like Mikey Moore to.
But it's about whether but you can't just send him there if he doesn't want to go there. That's the thing, isn't it? It's also about what a player wants. You've got to understand, you can't just tell them they've got to go somewhere. I agree that they should go somewhere else to learn, to be around other people. It's a really good experience for them. But if they don't want to go Belgium, you can't bloody force them. That's not
I
very
can't
nice.
agree.
You're sending a kid to go and learn out of Scotland with Rangers. You're like, why?
Well, it'll toughen him up a bit. If not, it's not the quality, but it'll certainly toughen him up a bit.
And he's
And look
starting
at
to
look
he's
at the
starting to
lows
get
that
good.
Harry
The
Kane went
quality of
on.
the
He
league
didn't
is
come.
substandard compared to most leagues across
Yeah,
world
of
football. When the
course.
Saudi Pro League is rated just because of the players they've got, right? Let's get that, but ranked higher than Scotland.
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
makes me laugh.
but Corey,
He's
you
got to
got to
play
look at it
football.
like
At
this
least he's
as well,
getting
though.
games.
Corey, you got to look at it like this. Harry Kane, yeah, before he can become the big successful superstar that he is now, he went
Yes,
on loan
no,
to
no,
Leyton
no.
Orient. He went to Leyton Orient. He went to many other clubs before he actually broke through to the Tottenham team. So it doesn't necessarily mean just because he's gone to the Scottish League, which is ranked 46 in the world, that it won't make a difference to Mikey Moore's experience. Because if anything, it'll toughen him up.
Yeah,
I think
it'll
we'll
toughen them up, but at the same time, you want to have your players learning from a better quality of player, a better.
Yeah, ideally.
Well,
but
he is
that's- you
starting.
can't
He is
always
starting to
do
come
that.
good. I think he was just sent to the wrong manager. Clearly, I mean, let's be honest. You know, the previous Rangers manager is an absolute idiot, really. But let's and Russell Martin. But Sergeant Stressful. Let's finish up on this one. Really appreciate the sport. Stressful saying when teams underperform, everyone uses the "we need better players" excuse. Truth is, you're in the highest level of football, especially the Premier League. You have to be a good player. Now, this is kind of where I'm coming
That's a
from.
fair point.
No, this
It
is
is a fair
I'm going to
point.
vouch for Stressful here because this is where I have made this point in the past of like, oh, he needs better players. He needs better players with previous managers. But we still, I think, conceded when Dave and I made that point in the past. He still does have to get more out of what he currently has. As much as you can make that excuse for a manager, they still have to be able to do better with what they have currently. And this is the same criticism that is now being put on Thomas Frank, but for some reason it's not an excuse,
Exactly.
or for some reason it's not like applicable to Thomas Frank. But we said the same thing about Jose. We said the same thing about Conte. We said the same thing about Ange. We said the same thing about any manager that's been here at Spurs, where we said, well, they need better players. They need more backing from Levy. They need more backing from the Lewis family. And it's like, yes, that may be true, but at the same time, he's not getting the most out of what he currently has.
Double
And this
standard.
is where I'm at with Stressful here. And it seems like Stefan's kind of agreeing with me here. And
Agreed.
that's where I don't find it. That's where I'm getting a little frustrated with the Thomas Frank fans is all of a sudden he's can't do anything with this current set of players, but he literally came from a club in Brentford where it, in my opinion, a bunch of bang average players that he was getting the most out of and getting a really high tune out of and pushing them well above their weight in the Premier League. And then all of a sudden can't do that at Spurs.
There was no
I'm a bit
pressure on him
confused.
at Brentford.
Yeah.
Jack, the thing is, you got to remember one thing. At Brentford, Thomas Frank didn't have that pressure on him to finish as high in the league as possible, right? Because he wasn't told he had to qualify for Europe. He wasn't told that he had to you know what I'm saying? Like, he wasn't. But at Tottenham, it's a different story where the expectancies are so much higher than what they were at Brentford.
Yeah.
So there's times where you got to look at it. Is the Tottenham job too big of a challenge for the likes of a manager of a Thomas Frank? Or even, say, for example, Sean Dyche or any of those managers who are in the lower part of the table.
100%. We're not 0.03 XG bad. That's where I'm kind of at this point. The fact that we're generating 0.03 XG in games, I'm like, come on, like we're clearly better than that.
We are, Jack, but it's not being shown because of the way we're playing at the moment. There'll be probably games where if we actually get our accent together and figure out a formation and a tactical overview of where our strengths are, then that XG will improve. But until that happens, it's going to keep being the same, 0.3, 0.7 if we're lucky.
Yeah. I think we're going to finish it off, though. It was always going to be spicy, especially with the way that Spurs have been playing. There will be another fan show, of course, next week, and hopefully we have better things to talk about, but I don't know how it's going to get better from here. Hopefully it does. Appreciate you guys all coming on. Thanks for giving your opinions on various things, but we have a game tomorrow, which is kind of why I felt like we need to
Don't remind me.
show out today.
Are you doing a watch along for tomorrow?
Tomorrow I'll be there for the watch along. Yeah,
Oh,
we'll see
cool.
how it goes with Davo, and then another one on Saturday. The Brentford game, I think Stefan has been spot on. I think the Brentford game is a real.
That's a big game.
It's like Fulham 2.0. If we can't beat them, I'm dangerously worried about where things are headed from
Brentford's
here.
a big game. Brentford is a big game for us on Saturday. That is a very, very big game.
Think how fired up Keith Andrews is going to be for that.
Yeah, seriously. But come on, you Spurs, as always, and we'll see you tomorrow, everybody. Big day ahead.
I'm on you, Spurs.
Come on.
In Thomas
on,
Frank